It is already June 4th. Time just flies when you're having fun. Later on, open phones, particularly after the 10 o'clock news this morning, and at 11 o'clock we will learn about Auburn and what's happening up there. But we're going to spend time this morning learning what's happening in this region, particularly in the city of Saginaw, when it comes to special events, because there are a lot of them. And we have a couple of special guests with us this morning. First of all, the Director of Planning and Economic Development for the city. She is Cassie Zimmerman. Cassie, good morning.
Good morning. Thanks for having us this morning, Art.
Absolutely. Also with us is a CDAM fellow, which he will explain, and he is Ben Whelan. Ben, good morning.
It is a pleasure to be here, Art. Thank you.
So you will now explain, what is a CDAM fellow?
So CDAM is the Community Economic Development Association of Michigan, and every 15 months they place 10 fellows into communities in Michigan that have certified themselves to be what we call redevelopment ready, which means Saginaw has taken several different planning and development steps to signal to my organization that they are making their community more redevelopment friendly for developers to come in. And they placed me in the city of Saginaw in the planning department with Cassie, and it's been awesome getting down there and getting my feet wet in the goings on of the city of Saginaw.
So were they ready for redevelopment?
Yes, absolutely. Actually, I believe that you got redevelopment certified twice.
So the city actually initially got certified in 2019. It's a 5-year program, and so we continued to keep up all of our plans and push forward, and we got recertified in 2024. So we have another 5 years until 29, and then we'll have to get recertified again.
Before we get into all these events, since we brought this up, explain what redevelopment really means.
So in communities, especially like Saginaw, any of the cities that have really been built up, we don't necessarily have green development, typical as you think, where there's a farm field that's being developed. So pretty much every project that is happening in the city is redevelopment. So it's taking a site that used to be something else and redeveloping it into something new. So the state has set all of these different guidelines and best practices, and they're constantly being updated about how your zoning code should look, how your processes should be laid out. I mean, really streamlining everything and making it as easy as possible for developers to come in, pick a site, and then move through the development and approval process to get a project done.
So I have to ask this question. Do we need the state telling us what to do in Saginaw?
What do you mean? The state? Oh, no. Well, no. And thankfully, this program does come with a lot of benefits. So we get grants and money directly allocated to us.
That's a good thing.
And it also opened us up to be able to apply for the grant that funded Ben's position. So we get him for 15 months. The city did have to pay $10,000, but overall, the state was contributing over $100,000 between Ben's position alone.
Yes.
So
and I asked that on purpose because I knew there was money involved, and often when you deal with the state and they give you money, along comes a bunch of strings to go with it.
yeah, they're mostly good. You know, it really has set the city up that we are ready for anybody to walk into our doors and help them.
So if I said to you, okay, there's an empty building on the corner of such and such, and you're going to repurpose that building, is that redevelopment?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So anytime you take a property that's derelict or not being used and you transform it into something, that's redevelopment.
Correct. And it's generally a lot more expensive, which is why it's important for communities to have guidelines and to be able to apply for state and federal money in order to help redevelop these properties, because a regular developer is...
Tear it down, start from new.
Exactly. Or you got to pay me, I'm going to have to pay to tear it down. I'll just go get a greenfield somewhere. Mm-hmm. Right.
And we often have contaminated sites also from past uses, you know, buried gas tanks, things like that. So a lot of it is more expensive.
Interesting. And so how is Saginaw doing in terms of redevelopment? Have we seen much?
Oh, we are seeing so much more interest in the last 5 years or so than we have in a while. Honestly, the last 15 years, 20 years. I mean, there has been a resurgence, but over the last 5 years, it's really started to be seen by the outside world too. We're getting outside investors, not just the same few that are taking more risk and then reaping the rewards. we're really able to attract other people. And big part of it is the Medical Diamond. I
I'm
mean,
just going to ask if that's
Old
part of
Town, I mean, such a busy, bustling community down there. We're getting new housing projects. Habitat for Humanity is working with Covenant to build some new housing. We're really, really pushing housing. Even we were just meeting yesterday with Housing Forward out of Midland. Jennifer Acosta has now taken over kind of the regional housing effort. And so there's a whole new look at what we're going to do to push forward the region and create more opportunities for public-private partnerships and getting developers in to maybe share costs and some of those things, as well as marketing the region better as a whole.
The reality is, and particularly when it comes to new home construction, the cost per square foot is through the roof.
Absolutely.
You know, $250, $300 to start, you know, and then up from there, how do you build affordable housing?
Yep.
Which is going to be an interesting problem because you've got Corning coming in. They've just upped their investment in Hemlock by $500 million.
Mm-hmm.
They're looking for 1,500 employees. You've got Hemlock Semiconductor looking for a couple of hundred, SK Siltron and Bay City looking for a couple of hundred. This region could be one of the growth spots in the state of Michigan.
Yeah.
The question is where you're going to find them, where you're going to house them.
Absolutely.
Exactly.
And the housing is a big part of that.
Yeah, and that's what the city is really trying to make sure that we're in this game and that we're going to have housing available to at least capture some of these new employees. Because really in this region, you have the option to live anywhere. We don't have the traffic volumes that you can't live 15, 20 miles away from where you work.
But the other side of that coin is, and I've been on this soapbox for a long time, we need a regional transportation concept.
Totally agree.
You are
straight up when I said that.
CEDM runs a mobility program also that's piloted this year that is all about mobility solutions. I think they have 12 fellows down in Detroit at different technology incubators, and then they have a couple embedded in the civil government down there that are working on large-scale transportation solutions that they want to be able to scale down to the community level for communities even much smaller than Saginaw. But I could not agree more, Art, that public transportation is a need that I would love to see addressed.
Yeah, because, there's no reason that if I'm in Midland and I want to come to Saginaw, it's going to take me hours and hours because I have to switch and switch. You would think that the entities that run the public buses around here could sit down and at least come up with a route that they run to connect them, and not play games.
I think it all comes down to money.
Oh, doesn't yeah.
But it also does come down to community interest, and when we talk about this stuff, it does matter, right? Mm-hmm. Like people saying this stuff matters.
Well, it's quality of life.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So, all right. We're going to take a break. We're going to come back to quality of life because there are a number of things happening in the city. Play dates.
And
more. We'll find out when we return with our guests here on the Art Lewis Show, where it's 20 after 9.
The Michigan Lottery has 4 new...
The residents at large to anybody involved in recreation and the healthcare system. We went around and interviewed the community and tried to figure out what the gaps were to get people to recreate and exercise and be outside in our parks. And one of the biggest gaps we found was that we have a marketing problem in Saginaw. People don't even know what type of amenities are at the parks. They don't know how to access them. And then they also don't always have the equipment to do what they want to do at these parks.
And part of that, I think we have to respect the fact that the city for many, many years did not have recreational budget.
Yes.
Absolutely.
So,
we still don't.
and so why do we expect the citizens all of a sudden to jump up and down about recreation when
Right.
the city doesn't have the money to fund it? So it takes these grants to do this.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
So what kinds of activities and when and where and all that good stuff?
So for this year, we've planned 5 events. They're called the Family Playdates in the Park. The first one is a track and field event. It's this Friday, June 6th from 4 to 7. Registration is still open. You can go onto the city's website and search family play dates, or it's www.saginaw-mi.com.
Which park?
/parks. So this is actually going to be at Saginaw Middle School. So this is the one event that is not at a park. We were going to hold it at a park, and then the leader of this decided, it would be really great to actually use the track. So we got with the school district and we're able to, the former Saginaw High, current Saginaw Middle School, is where we'll hold this event.
They're all renamed, so you have to tell everybody what it was.
Former Saginaw High on Weber.
Yeah, the address is on the flyer, too, when you download it online.
Okay. All right, so that's this Friday. That's the first event.
Event.
And is there a cost?
No, these are events are free. We did organize with an organization that already coaches teams or clubs. So this is being led by Green Steel Track Club, and you will get real world experience for running and long jump. They'll do different.
We're going to do all kinds of track and field events.
Yes, all kinds of different things, and really teaching the techniques. And it's all for free. It's for families. You'll take away a jump rope and some Saginaw shoelaces.
Develop our next Olympian.
Yeah.
I'll be bringing a young soccer player that needs to work on his sprinting. So.
Somebody you know, huh?
Exactly.
After this, in June, we have a baseball day with the Saginaw Sugar Beets leading it. That one is Thursday, June 12th. And then a skateboarding day over at the skate park on Saturday, June 28th, where we will be. So at the baseball day, we have baseballs to give away. And at the skateboard day, we actually have skateboards to give away.
Where's the baseball day being held?
Hoyt Park.
That's at Hoyt.
Hoyt.
Okay. So that's 3. Are there more?
And then we have a tennis and pickleball day that will be at the Garber Tennis
I
Courts.
knew that was coming.
Yes, led by the Urban Racket Sports Foundation. So Lee and Farrington will be leading that one. That is on Friday, August 8th. And then we're ending off with a free play day and a back to school day. So this one will be at Veterans Memorial Park, and it's going to be playing on the play sets, running around, playing tag, playing Ring Around the Rosie, Red Rover, those types of games.
Basic school games.
Yeah.
Yes. And we'll bring more jump ropes. We'll do some double dutch and just kind of basic things. All of this is about getting families back in the park and learning how to play together, and just really trying to stimulate play and how important it is and how you can utilize these parks that are here for you.
Are these grants renewable? Can you do it again next year?
So we are on budget to be able to keep doing it next year, yes. I'm hoping that I've already talked with the Saginaw Community Foundation, and they are really into this program.
Right.
So this should be an annual event series for sure.
So I noticed on the back of that flyer, though, there's a whole bunch of other things. What's on there?
So on the back of the flyer, it talks about who led it, what you should wear. So we
Basics.
Yep, the basics, what's provided, and then where it is, and recommendations for ages. We typically are setting most of these events for 7 to 18-year-olds. A few of them can go down to 5 or 4.
So what about adults?
And the adults have to come too. We want this to be family.
Yeah.
Yes, bring the whole family.
We don't want to teach a bunch of grade schoolers how to play pickleball with each other. We want to teach them how to play it with their parents.
Yeah, exactly.
I have to laugh when I hear pickleball because everybody thinks, wow, here's this game, and particularly older Americans can play pickleball. You got this wiffle-type ball and paddles. How bad can it be? Everybody I've known that played pickleball injured themselves.
Oh, absolutely. It's only a couple steps from racquetball, Art.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah.
Well, it ruined my tennis game. That's what racquetball. But I kid you not, everybody I know that plays with, one of them broke a leg, one of them broke his hand. I mean, it's
Oh my gosh.
It's supposed to be this simple game.
That's why it's going to be important to register so you can sign our waiver for the pickleball event.
Oh, my goodness gracious. And these events take roughly how long? 2-3 hours?
Yep, we have them for 3 hours for most of them.
Same times? Or are they different times?
Mostly at 4 to 7. So the first 2 are 4 to 7. The skateboarding day that's on a Saturday is going to be 10 to 1 p.m. Then we're back 4 to 7 for tennis and pickleball. The free play day on August 22nd is going to be a Friday, and it's 4:30 to 8.
So You mentioned, seriously, you mentioned waivers. Is there a pre-registration process, or do you just show up?
Yes. No, we do ask that you register, and that's where we talk through that this is family event. You know, we need to have an adult with a child. We ask about allergies because we'll have snacks, and then give all the information about where you need to be and what you need to do.
So what is the website?
It's on the City of Saginaw's website, so it's www.saginaw-mi.com, then /parks.
And on there you'll find the schedule and everything else?
Absolutely.
Yes. You can even learn more about the 1.5-year-long process we took to come up
Yeah.
with this event if you would like.
There's a nice little narrative on there.
Oh, well, give us an idea what that was like. How long? It took you a year and a half to come up with this?
Yeah, it was really great. They had so different modules that we had to go through, and we chose Parks and Rec, which is how we ended up going through this, because really that program could focus in on infrastructure. It could look just at your schools, or your different trail systems, those types of things. We focused in on parks, and so we talked to different neighborhood associations. We went to a couple of community centers. The NABE was a really interesting conversation with all kids from 12 to 17. That was where we got a lot of information about what they would want, and a big part was that they don't have the materials, and they want it to be a program. They don't want to just go out and do something by themselves.
It's neat that you went to the community.
Yeah,
Because they
it was
buy
great.
in.
Yeah.
All right, we're going to take a break, come back with our guests after these notes. It's the Art Lewis Show.
It's a fun family event that's free.
Style and security to your home with Schlag Door Locks from Menards. Whether you're looking for a traditional interior lock or a Wi-Fi compatible electronic lock, Menards has you.
All right, we're back with you here on WSGW. In studio with me, Ben Whelan. Ben is a fellow of CDAM, the Community Economic Development Association of Michigan. And I guess the term would be, is it on loan to the city of Saginaw, or you're just
I was granted, honestly.
You're granted, so
Yeah.
you're here on a grant.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then you'll hang around because you like it.
I hope to, yeah. If everything falls right, I've been living in the Tri-Cities for
Yeah, you've been here a while.
41 of the last 43 years.
So you're a native. Okay.
Yeah, yeah, and I'd like to stay.
And also with us is Cassie Zimmerman, and Cassie is the Director of Planning and Economic Development for the city. There were some other projects going on. I mean, you talked about the play dates and all of that, but there's a lot going on in the city, isn't there?
Yeah.
And the county.
Yes, and in the county, yeah, because Saginaw County Parks has their fishing day this weekend, where you can fish with your family. It's very similar to the play dates, and you take home a fishing pole at Haithco Park.
And then also, I mean, tonight we have Jazz on Jefferson.
Yeah, I was going to bring that one up because you can't ignore that. That's a big
Right.
one back again.
We have the Shop Sensationals going on over at the SVRC, along with a project near and dear to Cassie and I's hearts at the Great Mural Project, is doing their Riverfront Gateway mural right out in front of the SVRC if you're looking towards the river.
Tell us about that, Cassie, because we've talked about murals before. That's one of your pet things, isn't it?
Yeah, so I'm one of the members of Great Mural Project, and we love to do murals that involve the community as much as possible. So this one, thankfully, the city, again, is so easy to work with on this stuff. I mean, they really want to do, of course, me being in the city maybe helps, but even before I worked for the city, they're very open with us doing public infrastructure projects like this, where we're painting on the sidewalks. So we painted on the roads years ago. The sidewalks is where it can stay because technology just isn't at the point for road. But for people walking on it, it'll be great. We hired 2 artists to draw it out, and we'll have a paint by number type of volunteer painting event on Saturday.
I have another project I'd love to see done.
Yeah.
I kid Mark Fleckenheimer about it. I was on the committee that the silos got painted, right? But the south end of the silos was not.
I
Those other
noticed.
buildings. And I kept saying, we got to do something with those, you know? Even if it's a solid color, just do something. Make them
I
look
agree.
good again, you know? I'd love to see that happen. Because
Yeah.
those silos have taken off. They've got national attention.
Oh my gosh, it's huge. And honestly, even if you remember when they first painted them, they just did the solid colors. And even that did look really
Absolutely.
cool.
Oh, yeah,
So,
that was part of, they put the base down. and that
Right.
was yeah.
so I agree. Even on those other ones, just paint the solid colors. It
Just
would
do
still look
something
great.
so they don't look like rusted out hulks sitting there at the end of the silos.
Yeah.
Haven't got any traction yet, but I'm
Yeah.
I'm sure we have a ton of local artists who would love
yeah, but
to
you
sign up.
You gotta buy the paint, the brushes, all that
Oh,
stuff.
yeah.
I mean, it's not
And that's
cheap.
that's why it is important to donate to the Great Mural Project if you can, because we do need to buy supplies.
It is not an inexpensive task.
Going back with Jazz on Jefferson, too, we actually have a live mural that will be painted there. We're working with the libraries of Saginaw County, and we are doing a mural. This guy named Congo we hired to do a mural on their book drop right outside of the library. So that'll be painted tonight during the event at Jazz on Jefferson.
That'll be interesting.
Yeah.
That'll be interesting. So what are the murals? When we talk about murals, you know, we think of things. I saw one the other day. Where was I? Southwest side of the city, I think, and I saw a whale on
Yeah.
a building. I had never seen it before.
Oh, my
It just
gosh.
caught my attention when I drove by.
Yeah, that was John Vasquez. He did that one not very long ago. It's really nice on Gratiot.
Yeah, it's on. Yes, exactly. And I just, you know,
I love it.
either I've been in oblivion when I've driven by it. I don't know. I just never saw it before.
It's always the utility boxes that catch my eye. Like, I think being a citizen of mid-Michigan, and I spend a lot of time recreationally down in Detroit, I get used to building murals because they do a great job
Right,
down there.
yes.
But the ones that catch my eye in Saginaw are always the utility box murals. That can be such a eyesore if it's not beautiful, and having them be like pieces of art is really cool when you drive around, I think.
Yeah, no doubt about it. No doubt about it. And then we have, you know, and then we have other murals that are not part of the mural project.
Correct.
The Rescue Ministries of Mid-Michigan put a big mural behind their building. It's
Yeah.
huge.
Huge.
It was an artist from Florida that did that. Of course, we have the Saginaw Spirit mural
Yeah.
down on the
Yep,
on the
I love
parking
both
garage.
of those.
are
Absolutely.
That
phenomenal.
parking garage looks so nice, and they lit it nicely.
Yeah, oh,
and
the whole
then
thing.
underneath the bridge, too, where they put the Henry Marsh mural,
Yep.
and then it's all lit. It looks so nice.
All the legacy projects from the Memorial Cup.
Yep,
All right.
Symphony Lane.
We'll take a pause and come back with our guests here on WSGW. Let me take a moment to talk about McDonald Ford in Freeland, where they have stocked their lot with tariff-free vehicles. And not only are these vehicles tariff-free, but Ford is offering employee pricing for everyone. So not only do you save money because they're tariff-free, but you get employee pricing. So maybe you're let's say a Chrysler import buyer, but you're considering a Ford. Well, this will be the best time because you will get the lowest price offered. Chevy truck buyers can think about getting into the most popular pickup in America, the Ford F-150, also at employee pricing. And by the way, Ford has announced that employee pricing has been extended through July 6th. So you see, now is the right time to visit McDonald Ford, M47 in Freeland, for the best selection and the lowest possible price. Don't let tariffs prevent you from getting the vehicle of your choice at a price you can afford. Visit McDonald Ford in Freeland today. Remember, tariff-free and Ford employee pricing for everyone.
Be the hero of your office.
Studio Cassie Zimmerman, Director of Planning and Economic Development for the City of Saginaw. Ben Whelan, who is a fellow from Community Economic Development Association of Michigan, who is granted a position here in the city for now until next April. And, you know, every time we take a break here and I play the commercials, we're talking and all of a sudden we say, oh, yeah, there's another project. Oh, yeah, there's another project. It's endless around here, isn't it? It just seems to be because there's a big statue going to be going in on the Riverwalk.
I'm really excited for that. The River Gazer, I believe it's called. that's been a project from Art and About for a while now, and they're finally going to be putting it in, it sounds like, this summer.
Yeah, because it's been done for a while in storage, but they had to put the footings in and everything else. So
Yeah.
it looks like it's going to be finished.
The plan for that, I've heard, is to continue to do some more statues along the riverfront walk so that it can kind of be like a sculpture museum as you walk along.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of great ideas, and I'm glad to hear it because it's the one of the things Bay City had over Saginaw is they figured out how to use their riverfront and use it well.
Yeah.
And that was always lacking here, and now all of a sudden we're seeing it, you know.
Yeah.
And coupled with the fact that the medical diamond is along the riverfront, and you know, all of these things. You know, I think of driving down Washington Avenue, what it looked like and what it looks like now, and how that development has. You talk about economic development.
Absolutely.
That's a centerpiece of economic development around here. And not even in Saginaw. You go to Bay City, look what the Sheehans have done with the Riverfront project. I mean, there's a lot of things going on. What makes good economic development?
Oh, that's such a good question. I think really community buy-in is so important. It's really hard to do any good work without interested members of the community that aren't working, you know, that aren't city employees or county employees, right?
The citizens.
Yeah, the citizens. And other than that, it is really good to have best practices that Cassie talked about right at the top of the hour with getting redevelopment certified. Like, the reason why Michigan wants you to do that is because the community is signaling to developers, to people that want to come do development, that this is easy, that there's an interest, and that there's an ROI on it, right? That there's a return on investment. So those things aligning is really important. But honestly, like, the best development at a community level occurs at the community level, like at the citizenship level. And
I would take issue with only one word: easy. Dealing with government is never easy. Maybe easier.
Yeah.
and less complex. How about that?
All right, less complex.
Yeah,
I like
it
that.
certainly could be.
Streamlined.
Yeah, exactly. No,
Yeah. We have
And good-
the
good
path
on-
laid out for you, at least. Now you can see what you're getting into.
So what, Cassie, give us an idea of a timeline. A developer comes in and they say, okay, we have a project, we'd like to land it in the city of Saginaw. What happens and how long does it take?
So it really depends on where they're coming at, because we do have people who come in who just say, I want to develop affordable housing. And so then that's all they have. So we give them sites. We can, often we meet with them with Saginaw Future and the city, depending on if they have a location in mind. We may be able to skip that step and go right into, this is what the zoning is. These are the development standards that you would have to meet. And then we have a whole development guide that we'd give them that shows each of the approval letters, from planning to building to engineering. And then the other side of it is if they need incentives and if they need assistance with getting tax abatements or grants from the state. So we will also, and this is always working with Saginaw Future too, they're such a strong partner, making recommendations and other connections. So I guess my simplest answer to you, if they come in ready to go, have a site, and we can just meet with them and talk about the parameters. There's a lot of going back and forth, you know, so they'll be working on the site plan, sending them for our comments. Once they submit it, we can get it in front of the Planning Commission. We automatically submit it out to all departments so that all reviews can be going on at once. They can get to the Planning Commission within a month. If they do have to go to another meeting, it would be within the second month. And then the approval process would kind of be going back and forth. So
is it-
typically 3 months to, depending how long. I mean, we work on projects for multiple years.
So typically a developer comes in, okay, they want to build affordable housing. And maybe they even have a site selected, right? So they come in, they lay all this out. You have to send it off to all your departments and everything. From the time they say to you, we're interested in building in Saginaw, till the time they have a key in the door and their project's done, a couple of years?
Yeah, well, and it all depends on the size of the project too.
Well, that too.
But yeah,
but on average, I mean,
Yeah.
you know.
yep,
So-
that can typically be the process. One of the big problems we have though is that the incentives add a long timeline. So, for example, one thing that you will see in this upcoming council agenda is a actually, it's in the next one, but I can let you know. We have worked on a development agreement